What up, everybody? Welcome to Detroit, Ford Field, where the Washington Commanders came, saw, conquered. 45-31 final, and honestly, it wasn't even that close. Washington dominated the one-seed Lions from whistle to whistle in this thing. What an impressive win for the Washington Commanders. This is Beltway Football. You're watching on Monumental Sports Network, or you're listening wherever you get your podcast. I'm JP Finlay. We're brought to you by MGM National Harbor. And let me tell you, this stadium is loud, but I got a feeling the big man's about to be louder. Hello, Mitchell.
Holy potatoes!
The best part of that is Mitch specifically said, he's like, man, there's a lot of people out here. I don't
here.
really want to have to yell holy potatoes, but no other choice.
This team is headed to the NFC Championship game. I'll yell at the top of my lungs. I might have no voice left, but I'll yell at the top of my lungs.
The comment that sticks with me, and then the play on the field tonight, Quan Martin, Wednesday or Thursday in the locker room said, yeah, we know they're good, but we're good too. And then he's able to put his money where his mouth is, get the pick six. There were so many impressive plays, and honestly, Jayden Daniels might be the best quarterback in the NFC already. Like, it's getting harder and harder to say he's not. His play tonight was so fantastic. Whenever they needed a play, he made it happen. Third downs with his legs. That dot he threw to Diami, where he had to release that ball so early. Jayden's incredible, but the defense was the story tonight. We talked about how Goff will turn it over. This Detroit Lions team will turn it over. They did that tonight. Washington took advantage. I mean, you see Jayden's stat line there. 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, another 50 on the ground. He was excellent. They controlled time of possession through their short passing game. Also, you know
5 turnovers by the defense.
Unbelievable.
That's where it's got to start, because you had the first possession where the Commanders turned the ball over on downs, but then you had Dorrance
right call,
Armstrong,
by the way.
Right call going for it, but then you had Dorrance Armstrong get the strip sack. Luvu gets the recovery, and all of a sudden momentum flips for them, and they're able to go down the field and score, and all of a sudden, bing, bang, boom, Commanders have a little bit of momentum.
Dude, it was unbelievable. And there were a lot of times where it looked, I don't want to say dicey, but when
they were down 7-3 and the Lions were driving right before that Luvu fumble recovery, it felt like if the Lions scored there, go up 14-3, all of a sudden Commanders have to press a little bit.
Totally.
You get a little worried about it. Like, things start going a little sideways.
Dude, and it was just – once Washington was able to take that 10-7 lead, they never seemed like they were going to be out of it. They seemed to control the whole way. It was, just such an impressive total team effort. Special teams were brilliant tonight. DQ was consistent again with his aggressiveness.
Yeah.
Late in this game, you're up 10, and it's 4th and 2 from like the 9, and they go rather than getting up 13, and you convert. Jayden finds Terry, first down, eventually for a touchdown. That's when you really start to stretch this lead out to make it a 3-score game, which I was very nervous. I was like, Mitch, am I sure I got this math right? That's a 3-score game.
You're like, okay, 45, 28, 17. That's got to be 3 scores.
It's got to be a
right?
3-score game.
How about the run game getting going? There's been no run game all season.
I think playing Detroit might help.
Certainly playing Detroit helps. But the fact of the matter is, Brian Robinson peeled off 14-yard runs at a regular clip, especially early on in that game.
His first 3 carries, I think he had 35 yards.
Right. And his number for the game was 34.5, I believe.
Yeah.
So,
I think he had more yards in the first quarter than he's had in the last 2 games.
Yeah. And that was behind an offensive line that was pretty patchwork, particularly once Sam Cosmi went down. This team really came together, and they played an exceptional football game, particularly offensively.
Dude, all phases.
All
because
phases.
Allegretti actually said it to me just now in the locker room, how it meant so much for them to see the special teams perform so well on kickoff coverage. They had a punt tonight. Who knew that Trest still knew how to punt? And they were able to down that, wherever it was, inside the 10, maybe at the 11 or so.
Yeah,
it was like right over there.
Nice backspin from
dude,
Trest.
they were just so
Ertz
good.
recovered the onside kick also. special teams across the board.
That was a hell of a play by Ertz to recover that onside kick. I made a note because you wanted me to remind you to talk about Trent Scott.
Listen,
Cosmi's hurt, dude. Let's be clear real quick. Cosmi, I don't think is playing. However long this playoff run goes, I don't think you're going to see Sam. That sucks. We love Sam. It's a game of football.
We saw him come off the field, come out of the locker room on crutches. But Trent Scott came in, and Sam Cosmi is the key man for the snaps. He's one that's looking back at the quarterback. He taps Biotish when to snap it, and Trent Scott came in and right away stepped in. The operation didn't get squirrely, didn't get messed up, and it's a testament to Trent Scott and all the work that he puts in. Allegretti, were you going to say, told us that he takes snaps across the offensive line all the way across the board, and he makes it a point of learning all the positions. And Trent Scott stepped in and played exceptionally well, keeping the operation going.
He also told me that his hands are still good if Cliff decides to call another pass to a big fella. Allegretti made a point of saying how well Trent played, and he did, and saying how much they love Cosme and they hate that he wasn't out there.
Of course.
Leads me to believe that thing's going to be fairly serious. I want to talk a little bit just about the scene late in this game because, I mean, Washington gets up 3 scores with about 7 minutes to play. Then they get the ball back with 5 minutes, and it just – this place was epic, and credit to Ford Field. The pregame light show and everything's incredible. These fans were so amped. This city was so amped. And it was funny. We were in the elevator, and this dude was like, he was watching the Chiefs-Texans game on his phone, and he says to me, he's like, man, I really think we could play with the Chiefs. I was like, yeah? He's like, yeah. I was like, you better take care of Washington first. And then he looks at me, he's like, hey, you're from Washington. I was like, yeah, dude. Like, Washington came here for a reason. They came to play ball.
Well, here in the stadium, when the Texans scored late, there was Chiefs throughout the stadium.
Right.
I mean,
and
this
then
Lions
this place was silent.
Silent.
Late in this game, there were a good amount of Commanders fans, mostly behind the Washington bench over there. Yeah. I'd say it was like 90-10, honestly. Like,
which is
a credit to those people for getting here. It was super expensive. It's cold as hell. This is not going to Florida, right? Yeah. Everything was expensive. Credit to them. And then you start hearing them chant defense late in this thing, and then the scene on the field into the locker room. You got Joe Gibbs, Kevin Durant, Jeffrey Wright, Magic Johnson, all of the ownership group, Harris and Mitch Rales and Mark I. Like, it just is continuing to grow and grow, and you feel this momentum, dude. And obviously it's never happened with Washington, but when you think about the recent runs we've seen, the Caps and the Nats, like, you just start to feel this momentum, and it's – you don't want to say too much. We don't even know where they're going next week. Is it L.A.? Is it Philly? Right. If it is L.A., is it Arizona? Like, who knows? And all those answers will get resolved. But the momentum surrounding this team and the energy, when we've said all year they got guts and they got a quarterback, but right now they are hot. They're playing good ball. Coming up here, I thought they had a very real chance to win. They do it. I think they're going to win next week.
That's what I was talking with a staffer, and I was like, oh, L.A. or
that was
Philly.
The bet I liked, was plus 1,000 before today to get to the Super Bowl.
Like L.A. or Philly. And I was like, it doesn't matter. As long when Jayden's on the field,
to come here and win here in this environment and to turn over Goff 4 times. I mean,
5. Oh, Lions 5 times.
Yeah, the turnover. Goff had 4. I guess Goff had 3. 2 picks and a fumble. Because then Williams had 1.
3 picks and a fumble.
3 picks and a fumble. Yeah. Oh, because the late one, right?
Yeah. Jameson Williams had the other.
Dude, just defense is playing opportunistic, and that's all you could hope for, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, Sammer still had 2 tonight. Jumped in front of Williams on that one you're seeing right there. He was just excellent. Quan gets the pick 6. All of it, man, just so damn impressive. And
the duality of Jeremy Chin getting the pick at the end of it to step in.
The duality of Chin.
You talked about the end of game where you can hear the Commanders fans chanting. We're up in the press box, and I think JP posted a picture. Just to the left of us was Doug Williams watching the game. Just to the right of us was Lance Newmark and Adam Peters. And just to kind of take a look left, a look right, and recognize like the excitement of these guys and what they've put together in such a short period of time is just absolutely incredible.
Absolutely. I also think, obviously you got to credit Dan Quinn, you got to credit Joe Witt for this defense to kind of come together like this and perform in this big of a stage at that high of a level. But I also think there was a little bit of history rewritten tonight. I think Kingsbury was so good early. Now there was whatever happened on the Mariota 4th down sneak and B-Rob, whether Mariota was trying to pitch it, you think maybe he didn't have the ball. I thought he stood up to try to pitch, and maybe that wasn't everybody understood the assignment, whatever that was. Like, you can remove that. I thought Kingsbury was fantastic. How about the tunnel to Terry that he house calls? All of it was just so fantastic. And honestly, I thought Ben Johnson wasn't. I think the play call, they're kind of gashing him. I bet the Lions averaged 7-8 yards of play.
They got too pretty.
And to try that Jameson Williams throwback was like, what are you doing? Just keep gashing them.
It's almost what happened in Tampa, right?
It seemed arrogant to me.
Both teams were gashing the Commanders' defense on the ground, and they both went to kind of a gimmicky trick play, and they didn't come through and work. Now, granted, Jameson Williams had the 60-yard touchdown run earlier in the game, so like some of their gimmicks did work, but
yeah, and the the pitch to Montgomery and then the shovel to St. Brown or whoever that was.
Amon-Ra, yeah.
I don't know. It just seemed like if and maybe some of it is just the quarterback,
which is certainly part of it.
And obviously Jayden is playing out of his mind. I mean, the numbers are fantastic, but I don't know, if you were an alien dropped from outer space and you watched this game tonight, which offensive coach would you rather have?
Cliff. And I was actually on the radio on 106.7 earlier today, and I said that I would rather have Cliff than Ben Johnson. And I think part of it is with Ben Johnson, he has a pretty incredible group of offensive players. It's easy.
They're loaded.
It's easier to scheme. But what I loved about Cliff was the Lions defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn, known for bringing pressures left and right all over the place. Early on in that game, we're just throwing soft zones at Jayden.
But then they started blitzing like crazy, and Jayden was killing that,
What
too.
I liked was that the soft zones they were prepared for. They had a couple of the quick little passes. You had Zach Ertz.
That was when the short passing game was working well.
Right. But then when they started bringing pressure, you could see Jayden check into some of those tunnel screens. The one to Terry that went for 58 for the touchdown. The big throw to Diami, down the field. They just had a great game plan for everything that Detroit was trying to bring at them.
You're playing hurt, buddy. I'm
I am.
proud of you.
I'm not feeling great, but we're here.
It's muggy here. For all the viewers, I'll tell you, it's muggy. All right? It's muggy. Muggy in that locker room. We're running around up and down a damn hill. I don't know why they got a hill. I don't know why some of their media policies are the way they are here in Detroit. There's at least a can kick for them.
That's why Albert Haynesworth.
Maybe a full-on goat to the media policies. Kerwin agrees. DJ agrees.
Everyone does.
Do you want to get to Game Balls and Goats?
Let's get to Game Balls and Goats. Brought to you by Oarsman Alexandria. Oarsman.
There he is. You got it?
Things are just going real well over here.
Oarsman right Automotive of Virginia. Now, they have multiple stores in Alexandria, like the big man was saying. You can buy a Chevy. You can buy a Jeep. You can buy
GMC.
a Ford. They got them all.
Kias. They got everything.
OarsmanVA.com is the website. Game Balls, I mean, some of these are going to be so obvious, and then I have some more nuanced ones. Jayden frickin' Daniels.
Jayden, let's just go through. Jayden, Terry.
Sure.
B-Rob.
Sure.
Diami
fought his way back, man. I want to run through some of these stats.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Sam
Like
still,
Sam
sure.
still too.
Yeah.
We're starting on offense. Let's go through some of the offensive. Trent Scott.
Jayden goes 22 of 31 for 299, 2 touchdowns, runs for another 51 yards. Terry goes 4 for 87 with a touch. Diami's your leading receiver, 6 for 98. Ertz made 2 big catches and that onside recovery. That's a game ball in my book. Did you see the size of the welt on his chest when he was just walking through the locker room? You might have been down here because he was one of the last guys off. It was like, imagine getting stung by the world's largest jellyfish. Like, it was like just nasty, man. I hope he's all right.
The fourth down catch early on in the game for
B-Rob for
Ertz
sure. You mentioned 2 touchdowns.
was a big run. Eckler with the big 25-yarder to start the.
I think Eckler and McNichols at least getting hat tips.
Yeah.
And McNichols got a touchdown.
McNichols getting in the
That
end zone.
was a hell
there
of a
was
reach,
awesome.
dude.
Yeah.
Remember when I was on that hot streak of McNichols anytime touchdowns?
Yeah.
Maybe we do that in Philly or LA. Defensively, obviously, I'm going to say Chin. I'm going to say Samerstill,
Dorrance Armstrong, Quan Martin.
Louvu recovered that fumble. Armstrong brought him down. Just a really impressive effort. Armstrong, they had credited for 2 sacks. I think that's the only 2 they had. I thought everybody was good. Gonzo had a missed kick, but he was good for most of the night. I think, dude, I think this may be fairly unprecedented. I'm serious.
Go for it.
I'm prepared to make an unprecedented move.
Please.
You go to Detroit, and you take out the 1 seed, everybody gets a damn game ball. How do we feel?
It's
unprecedented.
The anti-Danny Frank. When they lose, no game balls.
Right.
When you go beat the 1 seed to make the NFC Championship, everyone gets game balls.
So I have some specific stuff. The Armstrong sack, B-Rob, the Terry, so obviously Terry had that tunnel that he house called and just showed incredible speed and vision to kind of duck under the tackle at the line of scrimmage. But earlier than that, they had a 3rd and goal close that he really wasn't touched, and he gave him a LeBron flop, and they got the flag, they got the pass interference.
Oh no, that was absolutely a penalty.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
I think he flopped and got it, but he got a little tug. He got a little tug on there.
He sold it then.
He did. Right before that, Jayden took a shot out of bounds that
I saw almost into the wheel well of the camera.
Not a whole lot of quarterbacks in the NFL.
There were a couple bad hits on Jayden. We'll get to those in Goats, but I thought The throw Jayden made to Diami just before the 2-minute warning was unbelievable. Jayden repeatedly, sadly, for far too long, you and I were kind of scouting quarterbacks in the draft. And what I valued the most were quarterbacks that could make anticipatory throws.
Yep.
And that's why I really liked Bryce Young 2 years ago. He finally started to show it. Jayden's ability to let the ball go way before the route has developed is uncanny at this stage of his career and continues to get better. You saw it tonight repeatedly. You saw it on a big third down catch by Zach Ertz. You saw it on just the dime to Diami. What we're watching with Jayden Daniels is unparalleled, and I hope everybody's able to absorb that and enjoy it.
It's the absolute best rookie season that the NFL has ever seen.
Absolutely.
It's funny because the very first throw he made as a Commander in a game,
minus 14.
Well, no, I was gonna say the Jets throw when he audible to that one.
Yeah,
that was a similar throw where he threw it with anticipation. And then we saw it obviously in Cincinnati on the game winner, and then we saw it again here tonight. It's just he continues to show a poise and a level of quarterback play that Washington certainly hasn't seen in forever.
Absolutely. The quarterback play has been unreal. It's remarkable what they've been able to get done at this high of a level. The Quan Martin pick six. Another thing we got to mention, Detroit made mistakes in this game. We thought Dan Campbell was going to be fantastic. Dude, to get a 12 men on the field on a 4th and goal, and that gives Washington the first down, shout out to Detroit. Aaron Glenn, you're about to be a head coach. Your team got drilled tonight. Ben Johnson, you're about to be a head coach. You got out-coached by Cliff Kingsbury. Good luck, fellas.
And to some extent, Joe Witt.
And Dan Quinn.
Let's give Joe Witt and Dan Quinn a ton of credit for what this defense did tonight, because they gave up a lot of yards on the ground, but they didn't give up the big play. They gave up the one big play to Jameson Williams.
Yeah,
but they got.
You're also gonna give up big plays. And that's Detroit's outrageous.
This is what we saw from Joe Witt and Dan Quinn in their entire career in Dallas, right? They would give up a lot of yards, but they would get turnovers, and it made their defense good. And that's what Joe Witt's been trying to get out of Washington, the entire season. And finally tonight he got it.
Totally. Turnovers and special teams play are the great equalizers in playoff football. A few specific goats I wanted to run through. The false start call on the first drive, where Biotish did what centers do every day since the start of time. I thought that was kind of junk. Diami ended up having a great game. He was their leading receiver, but that drop early on in the game on third down was pretty tough.
The drop on third down was very tough.
The face mask on Dante Fowler.
It's the face mask, but it's the NFL not being able to review that.
Sure, it's all of it, though.
It's got to change.
It did look like it live, but shout out to Heather McDonough, who called it the phantom face mask, and she was spelling face mask PHACEMASK. I think that was good. Luckily it didn't end up mattering. She loves a good pun. Also, I tweeted this out. I got a text from my beautiful wife at one point during this ball game where
this was the most Finlay text ever. When two people have been married so long that they start kind of acting like each other.
I texted her, acting like each other. She's a fiery one.
I
texted her.
You don't think you're fiery?
Nah, man, I'm chill. I texted her to check on the girls because I know she was letting them watch.
Right.
And then eventually I figured they'd go to bed. And she said, they're asleep on the couch. Well, and the refs gave them that drive with the call. They owe us a makeup. Throw that bleep out. Pascal, whatever. I need a beer and to chill. Ha. That was live.
I will say
live thoughts from Lauren.
That shot on Jayden was junk.
Yeah.
I mean,
I wanted to call that guy out specifically.
It
was late. It was cheap. It was very much.
It was late, cheap, and to the head. It was everything that's wrong.
He should be fined.
Maybe should have been ejected.
Well, but it didn't happen. Like I'm saying, at this point, that was a very clear cheap shot on a star in the NFL, and I'd say it's time to start protecting the kid like a star.
Particularly now, and that's the thing is, I don't think that he gets credit for being a star. He's getting, he's not getting those calls, and he's a rookie, so I don't expect that he will. But eventually, we're going to get to the point where he needs to start getting them.
Look at the Goff, dude. 3 picks and a fumble. Not to say he's right, but Landfill before the game on radio was like, listen, man, say whatever you want. In my mind, Jared Goff's always going to suck. I'm taking the Skins.
Yeah, I love it.
I mean, it's relatively rudimentary analysis, but it was proven correct.
You want a small kick in the pants? I had Jayden Daniels over 300 yards passing as one of the ladder ups, and he ended up with 299.
Could you get stat corrected maybe somehow? Stat corrected the
Maybe.
good way?
We'll see.
Stat corrected usually happens the bad way. You deserve a good way. You're playing hurt.
We're playing hurt, but we're going to the NFC Championship next week, so
That's right.
I'm playing with house money regardless.
Should we get to the stuff?
Let's get to the stuff. Brought to you by BetMGM. That's where
BetMGM.
that's where all of our odds and numbers come from. We'll start with 100 chips. JP will start with yours. You went Commanders plus 9.5 for all 100.
That hit.
Yeah.
No, see, that's what I thought too.
Oh.
You were telling me I had 9.5. I thought I took the under.
Oh, Perina, I think maybe I screwed it up. I'll take the blame for it. Well, JP lost his 100 chips.
I think that's correct.
Oh, okay.
As much as I want to fight and pretend I
You did
was
say
right,
that in the press box.
I thought in this I had the chips. I also called the win, but it's all
you
good.
did. My 100 chips.
Did your joint hit? You had the parlay?
I had the Austin Eckler over 21.5.
That hit on his first catch,
receiving
right?
yards. Yep. And then Commanders plus 9.5. I don't know why they're giving me plus 190 odds, but I guess I'll take it.
Dude, Neil Greenberg from the Post on the radio told us he thought this game would be a blowout either way, and he had an alt line Commanders minus 13.5 plus $2,000.
Holy potatoes.
That's all.
I started looking around. I'm like, wait, what was the final? Oh my gosh.
That got home, right?
Yeah,
14?
14. That's pretty good.
Shout out to Greenberg.
We can get to over-unders here. Start with Jayden Daniels passing yards, 234.5.
Done.
Both of us went over.
No fading Jayden. I'm not going
over.
under the rest of this run. Wherever we go, it's nothing but overs.
You can't. I mean, you can't. It's
Right.
all overs. We both were under running back rushing
They went
yards.
way over.
They went way over, so we were incorrect on that.
Okay. What was the
And
last
then the
one?
last one was
Punts?
over under 9.5 fourth down conversion attempts.
Did they
for
get
the game.
there?
The
I don't know.
I
could look.
We can look. I don't think they did. It was definitely under. The Commanders, I believe, finished 3 for 4, and up until the 2 minutes left in the game, the Lions hadn't gone for a fourth down. So I think
Fourth downs, ready? Not even close, dude. The Skins were 3 for 4, and the Lions were 2 for 2. So combined, they were 5 for 7.
5 for 7. That's a big time under.
Oh, dude. So you win.
So I
It's
win.
your week.
We're tied.
All right.
1-1. Going into the NFC Championship game.
Dude, hell yeah.
Then we get to our Benji bet.
I think we get you some rest.
I was 31-30. You were 26-24.
Correct.
Neither of us got there. Neither of us were that close. So it is what it is.
Can I make a decision?
No.
Can I be the coach for a minute? We're gonna shut you down to the title game. You need to go to bed.
We're gonna be. Listen.
You need some rest.
A lot of hot tea and honey last night.
You drank a boatload of hot tea last night.
That's all.
You were good till like the end of the third quarter.
It's last time we were here in 2021. Our voices sounded like this because this place is so loud and trying to talk to each other. But right around the start of the third quarter, things just started going south, and I just shut up. And I was trying to
barely
make it
talking
through this.
anyway. It was too damn loud.
I was trying to make it through this. The one time
The
that I tried
open air press box, Mike Phillips, sucks.
The one time I got excited was when the Lions had the 12 men on the field.
Yeah, you were
and I was like,
that.
JB, 12 men on the field.
You were
You're like,
that.
I can't hear a word you're saying.
Well, your voice wasn't helping. It's very odd when my voice is in better shape
Right,
at
I know.
midnight or whatever time it is. Hell, it's 12:53 a.m. We got to go. We'll be on all week. We'll have podcasts all week. They're in the NFC title game. You believe it?
I cannot believe it.
Man.
Oh, wait, we got to do What Makes You Smile. Brought to you by Dominion National. Teethkeepers.com. All your dental and vision benefits.
Your
Visit
commitment
Dominion
to singing
National.
when you have no voice is quite impressive.
I'm committed to this bit, JP. It is what it is. We're doing it. You know, what can I say? JP, what made you smile?
A lot. I mean, we're going to the NFC title game.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that? Man, seeing Terry in the locker room. I mean, just seeing, honestly, John Allen in the locker room. Some of these guys, and then just at the end when AP walked in, like, half the guys were probably already on the bus, but there were some guys still there, and he just goes and, like, daps up every
single
player.
person.
And it's just it's so easy to be cynical, skeptical, whatever, when you hear the brotherhood conversation, but it's real for those guys. It's real in that room, and they're riding it as far as they can go. Dude, who knows what'll happen? They're 60 minutes away from the Super Bowl.
For me, it was seeing Joe Gibbs.
Sure.
Down here on the field pregame, up by the locker room. Look at Dale Earnhardt's tweeting about it. I'm sure every big-name Commanders fan has done it. I believe we have some Joe Gibbs video that we can possibly run. We got a chance to talk to him for a minute after the game. let's hear from the old ball coach.
So proud of everybody, for everybody to put this together, really, this team, in really a year. And so it's phenomenal. It's great to get a win like that on the road, really hard, gives you great confidence. So anyway, just fantastic for everybody. So,
What's it like watching Jayden Daniels?
oh, I think he's an awful good quarterback. I'll put it that way. He's special. Yeah.
The poise when you come into an environment like this, playoff pressure. How critical is that, or how impressive is that to?
No, I think it's very, having poise coming to a place like this and playing a team like that is really, really special.
Coach Joe earned this thing today. They went out and did it, took out the number 1 seed at their house. I mean, this place was rocking and incredibly impressive. We're on to wherever we go. We'll find out tomorrow night. Maybe we get you a Monday morning pod once we know where they're going.
Hell yeah.
For the big man playing hurt, this is Beltway Football. If you made it this far, I owe you a beer.